At the beginning of the film, Mia is introduced. She's a beautiful widow busy managing her claycraft business. Now, Mia has a daughter named May who is still in high school. Every day, Thomas, a motorcycle taxi driver and her close friend, picks up May after school. One day, during lunch, Mia and May suddenly start discussing matters of the heart. Mia advises May to focus on her education first. Well, May says she doesn't have a boyfriend, and her relationship with Thomas is more like a sibling bond. It turns out, Mia is still traumatized from loving someone after divorcing May's father. Poor May, her status is often teased at school. They say May has never been in a relationship, lacking experience in matters of love. One day, May sits alone at the bus stop enjoying her ice cream. Suddenly, an adult man offers her a tissue. Gently, the man asks May to wipe off the ice cream stain from her mouth with the tissue. So the man who gave her the tissue left without telling his name. Then Thomas arrived to pick up May. This unexpected event truly left a deep impression on May. From that moment, May starts imagining the man as an object of her thoughts. She plays with the tissue as if playing billiards with the man. But the next day, the man who gave her the tissue doesn't show up. May fails to see the face of the person who gave her the tissue. However, at that moment, Thomas arrives to take May home as usual. After changing clothes and having lunch, May asks her mother for permission to go biking. Her mother wants to say something but decides to wait until May returns from playing. While May is on the way, she suddenly falls from her bike. Fortunately, the man who gave her the tissue yesterday, named Tony, passes by and helps May. Now, Tony's presence makes May's heart melt, especially since he likes to speak using quotes from the Holy Book. How romantic, isn't it? After helping May, Tony bids farewell even though May tries to return his tissue. When May meets Thomas at their hangout spot, Thomas confesses his feelings to May, expressing his love for her. But May declines, stating that she sees Thomas as a brother. Upon returning home, May is shocked to find Tony there. Turns out, Tony is May's mother's new boyfriend. Mia introduces Tony to May, mentioning that Tony is a preacher and will be living with them. But May is really upset because she didn't know about their relationship beforehand. May can only listen to her mother, and Tony having fun playing billiards in the room. She can only watch Tony cleaning himself through the slightly opened door. Thomas knows that May likes the older Tony. Instead of feeling bad, Thomas laughs when May mentions that Tony is her mother's boyfriend. Thomas gets jealous and, to distract himself, he invites May's friend, who has a crush on him, to play billiards in the woods. It's fun, they play billiards happily, but suddenly, the girl who has a crush on Thomas stops playing because Thomas keeps talking about May. In essence, Tony's preaching makes Mia trust him wholeheartedly. One day, Mia has some business out of town, so she entrusts May to Tony to ensure her comfort. Tony becomes a solid father figure for May. He sincerely feeds May, creating a warm atmosphere as if May were his own daughter. May is finally captivated by Tony's attitude, and she agrees to play billiards with him. But in the first round of billiards, May, who has never lost before and whose pockets have never been hit, has to watch Tony score points for the first time. At that moment, Thomas suddenly appears and witnesses the scene. But before May can explain, Thomas has already run away. Tony tries to calm May, assuring her that if they can keep it a secret, her mother won't find out and won't be hurt. After that, they resume the billiards game that was momentarily interrupted. The next morning, Mia returns from out of town. Without suspicion, She happily prepares breakfast for Tony and May. In the afternoon, May meets Thomas at their usual spot. They decide to play billiards to ensure Thomas keeps what happened last night a secret. One day, when coming home from school, May feels jealous seeing the intimacy between her mother and Tony. Knowing May's jealousy, Tony woos May discreetly eventually. They start playing billiards again whenever her mother is unaware. Later, during breakfast, Tony mentions that he will be preaching in another town for a few days. However, May, who has been looking unwell, suddenly collapses. May regains consciousness and admits that she is pregnant. It turns out the pregnancy is unexpected. This immediately makes her mother furious and disappointed. May is pregnant at a young age, similar to the bad experience her mother had in the past. Thomas, who genuinely cares for May, is willing to take responsibility and marry her. In her heightened emotions, Mia demands responsibility. Thomas, fully aware, agrees to marry May. But Mia sets a condition: the marriage will take place after May and Thomas turn 18. Additionally, Thomas must live with them starting now. Meanwhile, Tony, the biological father of May's unborn child, continues to pretend to be a righteous person, acting as if he is unaware of everything. Thomas's presence makes Tony restless, and he becomes increasingly jealous. Finally, Tony tries to take advantage of the opportunity to persuade May to run away with him. When Thomas is at work, Tony sees an elderly woman approaching him on a motorcycle. After failing to approach him, the woman asks for a ride from Thomas. Thomas introduces the old woman to Mia, who is shopping at the market. Tony's misbehavior is revealed. He likes to play billiards with girls in every area he visits. At the right moment, Thomas also reveals his secret to Mia. At home, Tony tries to force May to run away with him, but May flatly refuses, not wanting to disappoint her mother again. Not long after, Mia and Thomas arrive home. When they confront Tony, unfortunately, May has to involve herself in danger to protect her mother. Meanwhile, Tony manages to escape after the chaos. Sometime later, Thomas is seen sitting alone at their usual spot, where he used to spend time with May. His appearance is tittier now, and he is wearing a school uniform. Shortly after, Mia arrives and encourages Thomas to continue his education and stay strong in moving forward, and always loving. They share a warm hug as a sign of support. The movie concludes.